everyone to another episode of Person of Interest. Today we have Lauren Boyer, who is owner and CEO of Underscore Marketing, located in fabulous Manhattan, but satellite offices in different locations, including Poland. She is also the president of the Entrepreneurs Organization of the Capital District, formerly on the board of the Entrepreneurs Organization of Manhattan, New York City, whatever name you prefer, and now also a resident of Troy, New York, and just bought a fabulous house, and is also still in Jersey and Manhattan and Poland and just jet setting around the country and the world. So welcome, Lauren. I'm really excited to talk with you today. Obviously, we've known each other for a few years, so I appreciate your time and having the conversation.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Don't be shy. We both know you're not shy. So let's touch on a bunch of things today. You've got some really cool things going on. You're rocking it in your business. You did some cool things before COVID to kind of make some changes in your business. You're doing some cool stuff with EO. Want to chat about really like how you're moving and shaking and keeping things interesting and real and relevant. I've admired the way that you have managed your business, led your business, especially with the employees. And you did some cool stuff before COVID hit with your business. And so first and foremost, why don't you just give us, a short descriptor of what your business does, and then, let's chat about the things that you put into play prior to COVID.
Sure. Okay, great. So Underscore Marketing is really focused on health and wellness advertising. And for people that understand the industry dynamic in that realm, it's looking at advertisers and advertising agencies, and there's a dynamic. So we're on the agency side. We buy media as first and foremost, but we look at how to plan media so that we're structuring investments in the right way, looking to see how they resonate with the different audiences that our clients are trying to influence, and then measuring back to what does that do for the end consumer or doctor in the case of a lot of our advertisers. So really helping them figure out not formulas, but really what works and what doesn't for their particular businesses as they're trying to activate meaningful communications and impact health outcomes.
Very cool. And can you talk to us about any clients that you have that are?
I can't, NDA in the industry is pretty tight, but what I can say is we've been able to be part of some amazing launches. We focus in on rare diseases and brands that are innovating in, established conditions that really need help, like rare cancers. And we've worked with a lot of innovation. So we help people that are very entrepreneurially minded. A lot of times they're funded companies that are pre-revenue. So they're coming to the table with lots of R&D, great ideas, some money to influence the audiences that they need to reach, but maybe a little bit of a gap in how many team members they have in marketing. And so we help to kind of fill the balance there and focus in on the investment side so that they can make every dollar count.
Love it. Really, really interesting stuff. So tell us about, prior to COVID, some changes that you made.
Yeah, so because it's an agency, it's a very cutthroat industry, a Manhattan-based media agency, right? Like look that up. And even though I have search as part of what we deliver in our purview for media, you're not going to find us number one in all of those searches. And so I think what you have to do when you're in an industry like mine, which can look like commodity, is figure out ways to differentiate, figure out ways to always look at how you change and grow and evolve, and hopefully pick the right direction to change, grow, and evolve in. So some of it, it's part science, but it's also part luck in a way, and a lot of vision, a lot of forward thinking as you're going. So it's not a kind of set it and forget it business. So was looking at the business, and I was looking at the structured, layered, kind of linear approach that we had to our team. And what was happening is as we were scaling, we're about 80 people now in the US and in our office in Krakow, Poland, which helps to deliver a lot of the work. Different story, but it's a great team dynamic that we've built over many years and we've cultivated it. And we had a lot of layers to get to any kind of output, which meant clients had to navigate, even the team members themselves had to navigate through their own departments. And what that does is every time there's a kind of game of telephone to be played and a handoff from one person to another, there's a potential for error. And there's also a time delay because you've got to wait for all of the conversations to happen before actions take place, or else they're very small baby steps instead of big leaps. And I didn't like what I was seeing in terms of the return and profit and margins. Agency margins are super slim anyway. So you're always looking at, more of a volume or longevity play with your clients. And to help the clients streamline and be able to work with us better and be more approachable and more supportive to them, but also to help us not have to raise prices and continue to charge more for essentially the same services, we could offer better services and solutions if we flattened. So we, effectively took all of the leaders and said, you're back in the business. You are not just up at the top in your ivory tower, kind of deciding what happens next, but you'll have responsibility for specific accounts and you'll be part of, talking to teams that are cross-functional and more out of your comfort zone than you've ever been in your life. And so we had some people that had been on the team for a number of years that love that. And we had some people that were willing to try, but ultimately just were not interested in that at all. And I dearly respect and appreciate those people too. So it wasn't wrong that they decided that they would move on, but it was right for Underscore to make the change that we had to make. So I stand by it, and it's really been working. It's about a little over a year in now. I think we're maybe a year and a half in.
Yeah, and I like how you were very clear about, you talking about the leaders being back in the business and how that wasn't a good fit for some people. But you were very clear about really your vision, how they can assist with that vision. And that's something that I've always appreciated about you, is that you're definitely a visionary, but you're also somebody who gets it done. So, and your communication style is one that I think is very thoughtful, pragmatic. It's very real, and it's unemotional, but I don't mean that in a bad way. Like, you're just looking at the situation and you're communicating in a manner so that it's not it's calm rather than chaotic and crazy.
Well, that's gotten me in trouble though, if you can imagine. I mean, so on the positive, everything you just said, is I appreciate hearing that, but it's also got me a lot of trouble because people that come into my business that come from more of a matrix organization or a much larger organization and don't have that entrepreneurial mindset do not appreciate it at all. They want structure. They want me to be, much more polite and conversational. And that's just not me. I mean, put me on whatever end of the spectrum you want me to be on, to make it make sense. But the reality is I am literally communicating facts as I'm communicating, and I'm not trying to sensationalize. And I don't like a lot of small talk because I like to cut to the chase, figure out what actions we need to take, and then get into it, which can be polarizing. So I don't want to claim that my style is right or should be adapted by anyone necessarily, but it works for me in some cases, and in other cases it can be detrimental. So I think just being mindful of the fact that you have a style, and sometimes that's going to work for certain groups of people, and sometimes it ought to be adapted or explained to others. I've been doing employee reviews all week, and I start with the words that I choose don't often communicate the things that I mean. So read what I wrote on paper and listen to what I say, and let's have a dialogue about it to make sure that you're clear on my intentions. And then I also put one of our core values at Underscore is API, or assume positive intentions, meaning give me the benefit of the doubt and I'll do it for you. So I may not get my words right, or I may have a weird, like quirky facial expression here and there, but that doesn't mean I don't like you or I don't appreciate what you're saying, or any of the narratives that you might put on what you're seeing. I won't lie, so just ask me. And so I think that's something that's helped us quite a bit.
I can definitely see how that would be helpful. I love API. assume positive intent. I think everybody should adapt that as a core value. And the fact that, I remember we talked about your core values. You got solid core values, but you also put a lot of thought into those core values. And I think that it's also fantastic that part of the profile of an employee that you're looking for is having, even if it's a little bit, of an entrepreneurial mindset.
Mhm.
And I think that is perfect because you're very entrepreneurial. I mean, you're always thinking about ways, from my perspective, about how to, um, you're always really looking at your business in that constructive manner and how to grow and evolve it, which leads me to the conversation of you being involved in the entrepreneurs organization and having been involved for almost 9 years. And for people who don't know, the Entrepreneurs Organization, it is a peer-to-peer, global peer-to-peer group that of like-minded individuals looking to grow their business. You know, all the people are at a certain minimum of a level. And then from there, really helping each other with strategies, whether it's for you know, operations or talent, or you know, really where are they going with the business. And you know, it seems as if you have learned a lot from that. So we can do a little shameless plug for Entrepreneurs Organization, because you've been in EO Manhattan and EO, now you're president of EO Capital District.
Yep, that's right. Yeah, and I love EO, and I think, you know, people kind of gravitate to the things that make like help them stay successful and remain challenged in their role. Um, EO for me is something that fills in the loneliness and the lonely gaps. As an employee in my company, there are a lot of people that are colleagues that can get together and talk about things that aren't, you know, professionally focused outside of office hours or even at the water cooler, right? What I can never do that. I'm always a representative of the leadership of the company, no matter what I do or say, and I can't have any friends in my business, even though I very much appreciate and enjoy the people that are in my business. It's, you know, it's one of those things that there's just a line there. So joining EO gave me a network of people that were in the same boat. And the kinds of things that we can talk about are different than even the kinds of things I can talk about at the family dinner table, where I might have somebody say, well, you could always get a job. And it's like, well, no, like I'm unemployable. So, you know, while I'm great at entrepreneurialism and leading and running my business, I can't imagine myself on the market, because I would necessarily go into a job and find out ways that they could innovate and bring them, and be frustrated by having to navigate different rules and circumstances that I didn't have a hand in creating. So it's been a really interesting run. And I think what it also does is while I was always growth focused, it keeps me mindful of growth and mindful of change by listening to my peers talk about their growth and their changes, and experience share about things that I've done and things that I've navigated, and hear their experience shares on, you know, things that I'm actively trying to make a decision on. So it's been great because I think one of the things it does is kind of continues to drive you to be a little bit more competitive, and not with them, but just in my own industry, like to keep proving myself that I can win. I'm not sure I would be. Maybe I would. Maybe I wouldn't be as driven without EO, right? Like I don't want to say that it's the reason I'm successful, but I certainly think that it helps. I certainly think that I continue to be qualified as my business changes and scales, because I can reach out to a network of 90,000 people across the globe who have been in similar business sizes and scale changes, you know, as I'm navigating. So I love it for those reasons. And there's lots of other organizations that, you know, fill in different gaps for different people. But I firmly believe in finding your tribe and finding your people and just full on getting in there.
Love it. Can you share maybe one thing that you're looking to do with EO Capital District to really make that mark?
Sure. So I'm excited. I mean, look, I'm new up here. I've relocated outside of, from New York City, just right outside the city, and you know, in a different stage of life now with kids going off to college. So I feel like it's this next level, next phase. And I was really, I mean, kind of pretty surprised, but also thrilled to be nominated and then, you know, voted in for president of the Capital District. So I'm starting my term, but I don't know anybody up here. I mean, I know a couple people here and there. I know the Capital District chapter members, not even everybody. But what I really want to do is help people get to know what this organization is and what it can do for the people that it resonates with. Also want to get more connected to the community and, see what we can do in terms of just dialing up the recognition of it, because its value and, and benefit to me has been so abundantly clear that I feel like I want to be more of an ambassador and share it. I'm not going to be quite like, knocking on doors and, handing out pamphlets, but, at the same time, I'm not going to hide it and have it remain the best kept secret either.
Well, I can help. We're just going to send out this video and you can reshare it.
My poster child for EO video.
We can get the conversation started right here. This is what it's all about. The Capital District is going to love and embrace you. So, I love this because you bought a house in Troy. I always tease you because I never know where you are.
You mean mentally or physically?
Either. Always like, where in the world is Lauren? But I give you tons of credit because you're bopping around and you're that hustler that's getting it done. But we always manage to, grab drinks wherever we are. And this year you're going to be able to enjoy the Capital Region because we're now open. And the fact that you're committed because you bought a house, you've got some other properties, real estate houses up here as well, that you can really get to know the area and we can help you with that as well. What are some of the things that really you're looking forward to, in this kind of next chapter, next phase, next part of your journey? You're doing wonderful things with your business. You are, located in various areas, but committed to the Capital District. And, you've got your involvement with EO and ton going on just in general. So what are you looking forward to, just for your own personal growth? Obviously, besides meeting me for adult beverages at cool places in the Capital District and going to the track.
Well, I'm actually, so it was really interesting. I know early on you said that I'm not shy, but I was an extreme introvert growing up, like almost incapable of responding to a question without completely shutting down. And over the years, business, EO, other like industry settings where you have to push yourself out of your comfort zone, I've realized the value of making strong connections with people. And I don't mean with any kind of ulterior motive, but really just finding people who are like-minded and connecting with them one-to-one, figuring out, experiences that can be shared, even additional connections that you can give to each other, whether it be professional or personal. But what I'm really, really focused on is giving myself time to do that and really create some great professional and personal relationships in and around this area. Because I think every time there's a new person in my life, I gain so much perspective and so much value. And hopefully I can give as much too. I always hope that I'm, holding up my end of the bargain. So I think this next phase, not so focused introspectively about personal growth and not really afraid to talk anymore, with the kids off kind of doing what they're doing and, the business at this next level of growth and scalability, I'm able to actually get out there and, push myself out of my comfort zone to talk to people that I wouldn't normally meet. And I really want to meet people that are completely different. So, not anybody I've ever, been comfortable talking to before. Not that I was uncomfortable, but, if you stay in your circle and just expand one more, you end up with the same circle, only bigger. And I'm looking to push the envelope. I want to meet the people that you wouldn't likely think of me as necessarily bonding with and see what happens,
I love that. I love that perspective. And, it's interesting about the introvert thing because I didn't know that about you. And just, obviously we've only known each other for a few years, but, is there is there one thing that you can point to that helps you be more comfortable, as you're talking to people? And obviously you have a mindset where you want to push yourself out of your comfort zone. So is there something for the introverts out there that you can share that was really helpful to you?
I don't know that I can help anyone else that was in my situation. I think it's really what I did was I spent a lot of time getting to the root cause of what my fear was and like why did I act like, sort of a freak when people would talk to me. And, where I got to with that is maybe I thought that maybe I was playing to what I thought they expected. And maybe it's being, well into my 40s. I'm not pushing 50, by the way. So we're just not even going to talk about that. But
Never would have said that.
maybe
Never
it's
would have thought it.
maybe it's not. Maybe it's experience and perspective. But what I got to is at some point you just have to accept that you are who you are and not try to morph into people's ideals or expectations. And when I started to really embrace that and just show up as, like I'm just going to own it, Sometimes I'm a little wacky, but I'm pretty smart and would love, very giving and very much wanting to be able to put myself out there for whatever use I can provide to to people who can use it. So when I switched the narrative in my head to you don't have to win them over or sort of sell yourself to let's see what happens and maybe there's some fun connections and experiences we have, it just worked. So I think for me, that was a real turning point.
That's fantastic. I love it. Own who you are, wackiness and all. I do appreciate your humor and your wackiness and your directness. So thank you for being here today. And the great takeaway for me is I love the API that assumes positive intent. I love just own who you are and break out of that comfort zone, try new things and meet different people and always hustle, right? Always hustle.
Going forward, yep.
Thank you, Lauren. I will definitely see you soon.
Thank you. Take care.
Bye.